Welcome back to SL Chennai Speaks Out. Do we safeguard our children against child abuse? And what is the role of the media? It's time for introspection, time to look within. Ma'am, what about you? Do you believe that the media sometimes, when it comes to traveling sex offenders, when it's a foreigner involved, like let's say a Hume, then it's splashed in the papers and on the channels. But child abuse happens at home, it happens at the workplace, it happens at schools. So do you believe that the media sometimes blows out of proportion things just because a foreigner is involved?
Yeah, I have a question for that. In and around the city, we face a lot of, we look into so many child abuse, but not all the cases comes into the limelight, right, as we've been discussing earlier. But why this? Because the fear the child or the parents have, and they don't want to, after they complain, what assurance the police department or the NGO people can give the child's parent, then child will be safeguarded, the name will be safeguarded. Okay. Can you put it down here, Ms.
Vidya, I'll bounce this off to Vidya first. You have the Juvenile Justice Act section 21, which says you shall not publish photographs or names, but we saw it even in Trichy when there was that boy surgeon case, where he was going to the court, there were media people who even pulled his cap off and photographed him. There are also cases where the police also has unwittingly sometimes paraded juvenile delinquents. So, very valid point. How do you protect them from unnecessary exposure in the media?
So, Sanjay, it's not a question of protect them. I think the media by itself has to be really appalled at the way they've been going on. We have been told, when we have pointed out to various media people about Section 21 of the JJ Act, or just the ethics of the way they use children to get their TRP ratings. We've been told by the media, unless somebody actually.
But does that let me stop you here. Does that actually enhance TRP ratings?
No,
when you violate the law, does it?
Unless somebody files a case against us, we'll keep doing what we want to do.
And that fine also is a paltry fine, right? It's a paltry fine even for this.
It is 20,000. That's not the point. But the point is.
No, but do you believe TRP ratings go when people violate the law like this and are insensitive?
It is. It is.
TRP ratings go up because of that.
We have channels which are absolutely unethical in the way they're talking about a case, who make up stories. We have the print media. Let's not only just go talk about electronic channels. And many cases we know who come to the NGOs tell us they do not want to report because of the media spotlight. They want to report, but they don't want to because.
But having said that, even organizations like Tulil are known because of the media, and the good work that you do is also
absolutely.
highlighted.
The media can be good,
yes.
But the media can also be very intrusive when you
like
talk about
NGOs
cases.
as well. There are also fake NGOs as there are insensitive journalists. Mr. Shakil Akhtar, to you, how do you address her concern? As a parent, because I know even recently, not long ago actually, the police unwittingly, you were not in the city police, and unwittingly paraded a juvenile delinquent before the cameras. Recently when a police constable was actually responsible for at least arrested on charges of murdering a 3-year-old baby, he was allowed to cover his face. So double standards when it comes to policemen and when it comes to ordinary people.
Not exactly double standard here. But
but you have to agree. This is double standards.
I will come forward. First, I agree with Vidya, what she said. There's something called self-discipline and ethics involved. And it is misfortune that we always play double role. When we have to get benefited, we forget all ethics. And when we have to take care of somebody else, we take care of same, double standard policies. First of all, media has to be really disciplined and sensitive. What they should show, what they should not show. Now, second issues come about the police. As you said that, delinquent childs were, paraded and all. There is difference between the victim and delinquent. Sometimes what happens, the police also little, enthusiasm take away, to show the accused and all, because the delinquent perhaps. But the moment her question is that whenever somebody comes forward for giving an FIR and all, what is the guarantee that name etc. of, child is taken care? It is not given to the media.
Is it leaked at the police station level, sir, to
the
media?
No, it is both way. Maybe. I cannot deny that it may not be leaked. Our chaps are all equally good, equally bad. But definitely attempts may be made that this should not be published. And here, media should also play an equal role. Okay, yes.
Even if you get information like this, you need to consider the child's welfare. Yes.
Will you not be interested to see, such stories? So you will definitely tune into that particular channel. So for this only the media is doing, like they want the entire population to focus on them. So they are creating stories,
yes, the girl
more and more stories.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
I think we are looking at this the wrong side way up, because the media is a business. and it needs its audience, and it likes to pick up stories and sensationalize them. You know, for every story, in fact, this is a media event, and you start with a story and address it to the police officer. The answer does not come from the police. The answer does not come from, you know, institutions, though they have a big role to play. The problem really lies within the home. How does a child go and report that something has happened in school when the child has already been humiliated, belittled, you know, broken, destroyed at home? And here I feel media, instead of highlighting all the negative, the criminal cases, why aren't you projecting positive images where the child is given importance? You know, and there are so many ads, so much of millions being spent in advertising. Now, for example, you have the Save the Tigers. Why can't industries, you know, one small ad a day, talking about child abuse, talking about how important children are. You know,
NDTV Hindu has a campaign, Justice for Children. Anyway, yes.
Read down.
Sir, just 1 second.
Post-abuse, the hand-wringing and the chest beating is sensational for media. That's why they go for post-abuse, never about prevention.
And usually the hand-wringing and the chest beating is also by the NGOs, not yours, but also by the NGOs.
Not ours, but also
Yes, you wanted to say
question,
something.
sir.
Yeah.
I'm from an NGO, and we also handle child sexual abuse. The thing is, when something is reported or something we are aware of, there is also competition among the medias. Like we get Jaya TV, Sun TV, and no, of course we have not got NDTV. Probably we have to get in touch with you later. But we get all these TVs, and no, the child, or we would have given an interview, and again immediately we'll get another call, and we have to give another interview, and the child goes through, the family goes through another interview, and there was
Very
a
valid
point we have to say.
Vidya, I want to ask
stop.
you this. Yeah, very valid point. I mean, making a child recount, trauma, that itself is very damaging, right, to the child.
Totally.
It's a valid point, because in the day-to-day operations in the media, every channel goes and, you know, each one wants their so-called exclusive bite, and they go back and make the child recount it. So that really plays havoc with the child's psyche.
Yeah, I'd like to make a point here. The media has a very important role in terms of expanding the information and understanding of public on child sexual abuse or child abuse. I wholly accept that. But unfortunately, what is usually happening is the media is not picking up interesting angles and stories to go with. Rather, they're just kind of dwelling on one particular case and one point. That is very unfortunate, because it shows a kind of a creative bankruptcy in the media, really, which actually it did not happen that way.
I think it has to come out in the open. Shoving this in our back of our cupboards is not going to help. But having reported it, the media goes on nagging the same clip, the same thing again and again and again and again, and does not report the progress that has happened. And if something positive comes, and it's just one little clip in some corner.
But are you broad brushing here? Are you tarring the entire media with the same brush? NDTV, for instance, has had campaigns on the Jessica Lal case.
So
when you say prime the media,
some parts of some media.
Yeah.
Some channels, some of the press.
Like some schools as well. Like
Absolutely.
some schools which throw dusters in.
I said that.
Well,
Didn't
say
I?
that too.
I said it in the beginning. I said my school might be an exception, but there are several schools that just push aside this problem.
We had witnesses here on this show, on Chennai Speaks Out. We had witnesses. 80% of children are in fact abused in schools.
Absolutely.
Corporal punishment, despite the laws and all that.
She went to the media reporter. He told, if this goes to my office, they'll make it as a news. I'll help you in one way. He silently went to that guy, gave him one tight blow, and he changed from that minute. So I would really...
Vigilante.
Give me a break. I mean, are you trying to tell me that physical violence on an abuser is going to change an abuser?
Manipur recent case of this rescuing these children, I think they did a very good job, because we had the opportunity to collaborate with that rescue and reintegration process, and I think that was a prompt reporting helped in nabbing the culprit.
Finally some silver lining emerging there.
I have the question to the parents.
Okay.
First, we have to concentrate. We are all talking about the abused children's, and also we are also talking about the post-abuse. We have to talking about the prevention. For that, we are only reacting against the abuse. We have to act against the abuse. In that, I am asking to the parents if any media can publish the sexual education or other thing, which people or which family will sit and watch that program?
No,
All right, Vidya,
answer this question. We work on prevention a great deal, because we do try and we believe that prevention sees that at least not so many kids get abused. We've had a great deal of support from media on this. Of course, it's not as sensational as post-abuse, but we've had NDTV actually covering a lot of prevention efforts we've done. We've had the Hindu, every year the Hindu on November 19, which is the World Day for the Prevention of Child Abuse, publishes a full free page ad in the Young World targeted at children on
And that
various
helps a great
aspects of
deal, right? That
prevention.
helps a great deal in creating awareness.
Okay, let me come for this. See, prevention is good, but when the media projects certain things, recently there was a talk on the wearing of slippers and other things in the school during exam. The NDTV came and interviewed our students, and one of our students was saying, now we know the 16 ways how we can copy, or they were being exposed to 16 ways of doing things.
No, but don't you believe, sir, you are a classic case of principals transferring the blame here. I mean, you all are experts in transferring the blame, many would say. Why is that? No, why is that you have to ban belts and shoes and socks? Why is this paranoia? How do you explain this paranoia on the part of the education authorities?
No, the thing is, what I am trying to say is, when you try to take a preventive act, the prevention should start at a home, where the parents should be educated to tell the child how the child should be. Today you allow the child.
Yeah, what we've already gone through. Yes. Yes.
In city areas, people are educated and they know about child abuse. What about rural areas, slum areas, where parents don't know what? In each house there are at least 4 children.
Mr. Shakil Akhtar, sir, to you, I mean, since you've also been DIG of Kanchipuram, and you had the Alan Horowitz case, I mean, I think wanted by Interpol. And we found that, in fact, I remember Vidya Reddy Tulir pointing this out to us, lonelyplanet.com, a website, actually, portrayed orphanages in Mahabalipuram, which fell under your jurisdiction then, has tourist attractions. And then it takes the media then to highlight such cases for a crackdown to be ordered. Would you, as a police officer, sir, give credit to the media sometimes for the role the media plays?
That's fact that media plays both positive as well as negative role. And positive role played by them definitely required, and it is essential for the society. Sometimes the negative role also, and here the main thing is that whenever they play their role, they should be sensitive to the issue, that's all. The moment they are sensitive and know what to say, what to not to say, and the way it should be said, that makes also difference. So as this case is concerned, here I would like to say that definitely media played quite an important role to highlight the cases. But before that, it is, all of us are equally responsible. Lot of NGOs are there in the name of, child health, child care, blah, blah, blah. But we never go into the details. What are the activities taking place inside? For example, this gentleman you are talking about, he was hero more or less. The conduit for him, he was considered to be that youth which other people were, considering him as icon in the area, because he used to get the money and he used to spend those money for the welfare of so-called kids, neglected kids. And indirectly, those kids were induced by the group. So there is quite a circle, So who has to be responsible for that? The society. And the society has to be smart enough to identify those kind of people and intimate. So here media definitely plays quite important.
After bashing the police and the media, it's time now to look at solutions. That's when we return after a short break on Aircel Chennai Speaks Out.